Still waiting. Greg Shapiro, United States of Europe, making fun of the EU the American way. The US and the UK are outpacing the rest of the world in vaccinating their populations and getting ready to reopen. Meanwhile, the EU is falling behind in what is literally an arms race. Now, there's good news. The World Health Organization says that COVID-19 is now a vaccine-preventable disease. The bad news? Europe is unacceptably slow. As of this writing, 16.4%. Now, I'm based in the Netherlands, and even my friend, who is a healthcare worker, can't get a jab. I know the Dutch are famous for the Netherlands second video, but these days it's more like, we know it's going to be the rest of Europe first, but can we just say the Netherlands 27th? Would that be okay? Indeed, when it comes to vaccinations, you have to think of the German poet Heinrich Heine, who once said, "When the end of the world comes, make your way to Holland. There everything happens 50 years late." So how did the EU fall so far behind? 3 answers. According to Politico.eu, the EU secured some of the lowest prices in the world. But at what cost? Well, I can tell you at what cost. Speed. As the time-honored office poster says, good, cheap, and fast, but you can only pick 2. Germany was like, oh, I want it to be good. The Dutch were like, yes, we want it to be cheap. And the rest of Europe was like, can we have it fast? Nein. As for fast, AstraZeneca was like, you want it when? Reason 2 is the EU took longer to approve the vaccines. Other countries, like the US and the UK, actually went absolving the drug companies of any liability. But Germany, on the other hand, was more like, nein, we like rules. Rules are everybody's friend. Exceptions? Nine. Reason 3 is that AstraZeneca has had problems at one of their Belgian production facilities. Could it be that some of the ingredients got lost on the Belgian roads? Because only in Belgium can you find signs that say, all directions, other directions. Damn it, Belgium! And now the good news. There are plenty of vaccines on their way to the EU. They've been loaded onto a container ship. And that is the paradox right now of European identity. It was a Dutch company that helped free the enormous container ship in the Suez Canal. Can we get Royal Boskalis to run the vaccination program? Wait, we're not done yet. That was the point where I would normally end a video like this, but let's go a bit deeper, because not only are these vaccine delays an embarrassment for the EU, but they're an endorsement of Brexit. Right? According to these headlines, the European Union's vaccine fiasco exposes a deep crisis of leadership, where Europe went wrong in its vaccine rollout, and why the COVID vaccination campaign is a better advertisement for Brexit than even Brexiteers could have imagined. But wait, there's also Brexit Britain's victory over the EU on COVID vaccination is not what it seems. The EU bloc's joint vaccine strategy, far from being a fiasco, is delivering a better outcome than the UK. Wait, but which is it? Well, first, a little backstory. The EU had no experience in public health before the start of the COVID crisis. The 27 member states had to improvise. This was essential to avoid a repeat of the deadly free-for-all that we saw last March on masks and medical equipment as member states tried to outbid each other. Germany and France blocked consignments of PPE leaving their territories, and Italy was left to beg for help. I mean, it was like, can you imagine California trying to outbid New York? I mean, yes, you can, because under Trump, that's exactly what happened. When it came to vaccines, the EU 27 agreed very early on to pool procurement. So they took their time and negotiated some pretty good prices, which were leaked by this Belgian minister. Want to see? Now, maybe the EU was a bit too stingy, took too long trying to negotiate the best deals, but not exactly. They also threw a whole lot of money at unsure bets just to cover their asses. The EU spent billions on a vaccine candidate from French drug maker Sanofi and Britain's GSK that was delayed by over a year after disappointing results. So the bloc relied heavily on AstraZeneca for its early rollout plans, a bet that had repercussions from the beginning. Repercussions like first come, first served. Europe's first deal with AstraZeneca came in August, months after the United States. So was the EU being stingy? Not entirely. The EU together set out the demands it wanted met in exchange for financial aid aimed at speeding up the production, 2.7 billion euros. And by the way, you may have heard about Israel having a huge amount of vaccinated people, but did you also hear Israel has also agreed to supply patients' data to the pharma companies. Anti-vaxxers are like, Big Pharma is injecting a microchip into your body so they can track all your personal private data. Yeah, well, in Israel, they don't need to. Now, in the Netherlands, we would never sell patient data to Big Pharma. We would just upload it to an unsecure server and let the hackers steal it. So finally the EU had all of its once squabbling member states with their noses pointed in the right direction. What could go wrong? Revealed 4 in 5 Oxford COVID jabs delivered to the EU not yet used. Angela Merkel talks of vaccines acceptance problem, specifically because Merkel said, I do not accept it. AstraZeneca, something about that title, I just don't trust it. Pfizer sounds trustworthy, yes. And while some EU countries have no problem if you take your elderly father to get a shot and they say, oh, do you want a shot too while you're here? And not so much in Germany. In Frankfurt, Elke Morgenstern was escorted out of a vaccine center because she enrolled using the wrong online application, and she had a pre-existing condition. Ja, we love the rules. Haha, rules! And not just in Germany. French President Emmanuel Macron claimed with no evidence whatsoever that AstraZeneca was less effective for older people. I guess Macron really is a bit like Trump. Perhaps we could try injecting some disinfectant, some Clorox bleach, very good for the santé. Hopefully we're done with these unfounded thrombosis blood clot fears and we can get AstraZeneca back on track. But oops, where are the AstraZeneca shots? AstraZeneca was contracted to supply 90 million doses of vaccine to Europe in the first quarter, but that is unlikely to top 30 million. Second quarter deliveries have shrunk from 180 million to 70 million. Now bear in mind, the UK has 2 production sites for AstraZeneca in Staffordshire and in Oxford. The EU only has 1 in Belgium, but good news, now there's a second one coming online in the Netherlands. AstraZeneca has a plant in the Netherlands' Leiden Bioscience Park producing vaccines. But the Dutch plant is building up something of a stockpile now, and both the EU and the UK want them. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said at the weekend that the EU can forbid vaccines made in Europe from being sent to the UK. The UK is like, how dare you threaten to stop this wonderful exchange of vaccines? And Ursula is more like, we have received nothing from the Britons while we deliver vaccines to them. Okay, by now, everyone has made their point and no one is blocking exports of vaccines. Why? Because of a key EU goal: openness. This is from The Guardian's piece, Lack of Perspective, Why Ursula von der Leyen's EU vaccine strategy is failing. He says the EU should tell the really good story of the EU basically at cost to itself, in the short run, helping supply the world. About 77 million doses of vaccine have been exported from plants located in the EU member states to 33 countries, something the UK has not done. And then there's this guy from Politico who just wrote this piece called Europe's Vaccination Program is a Success Story. No, really. He writes, Germany has recently been jabbing more than 250,000 people a day, and when one accounts for the difference in population, that's the equivalent of a country the size of the US vaccinating 1 million a day. So does all of this mean that the EU might still be able to beat the UK in the Brexit arms race? According to this guy, yes. With all the EU shots rolling in, the UK is likely to finish its vaccination marathon crawling on all fours, while the EU will be sprinting toward the tape. Okay, so maybe we won't be ready to celebrate on the 4th of July, but we could be celebrating on the 14th of July. And, in Europe, what is the difference? But wait, there's breaking news. Just to spite the UK, almost all Dutch-made AstraZeneca doses will stay within the EU. Take that, Brexit Britain, we're keeping the AstraZeneca doses. But oops, EU agency finds AstraZeneca vaccine can cause rare blood clots and now no one wants it. What happened? We worked so hard on getting the AstraZeneca vaccine cheap and fast. But guess what? That means it ain't gonna be good.